Pagkain sa bahay. Narito na ang sagot mga katropa. Ang Superman of Lechon. Napapawi sa inyong gutom at siguradong mapapa-analyze ka dahil sa tender juicy na jam mo pa. At siguradong malinis at bagong katay buhat sa farm. Kaya super masalasa at pangmasa pa. Ano pa hinihintay niyo mga katropa? Takbo na sa Superman of Panteño Siniluan at bumili na. Baka maabusan ka, katropa. Magmarami sa ibabagan dyan. Magkakamahalang kalas kung saan mag-uusapan ang bawat araw ng mga susunod sa bawat barangay. Dito rin pinag-uusapan ang mga pilong ng mga opisyal na barangay ng proyektong mga kamalan nyo. Kaya manood, makinig dito sa Millennial Online TV.
Ngayon, just to continue, Mr. Clyde Teves, the person named in the search warrant, was not around during the implementation of the search.
Talakayin. Representative. Opinion. Palawakin. Aksyonan. Kasama Silos dito na sa Yung Millennial Online TV.
Barangay, pangunahing unit ng pamahalang lokal kung saan dito pinag-uusapan ang bawat sigalot ng mga residente ng bawat barangay. Dito rin pinag-uusapan ng mga piling halal na opisyal na barangay ang mga proyekto para sa kanilang barangay. Kumustahin natin ang panunungkulan ni Kapitan dito sa Dama Barangay sa Millennial Online TV worldwide, ang katropa ng bawat barangay.
At tinatapos ang ating pagpupulong o Maraming salamat po sa inyong pagdalo at tapos na po ang ating session. Enjoy na po tayo.
Responsable ka bang gun owner? At mahaba ba ang iyong pasensya? At hindi ba intin ang iyong ulo? Alam mo rin ba ang batas hinggil sa pag-iingat ng baril o firearms? Kung hindi,
A responsible gun owner?
Are you 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 a responsible gun owner? The PNP Civil Security Group would like to advise all firearms holders to renew their license to own and possess firearms and firearms registration within 6 months before its expiry date. Tumawag na at makipag-ugnayan.
Be a responsible gun owner.
One Gun Pilipinas ang sagot, mga katropa at kaganos. Tayo ituturo sa inyo ng One Gun Pilipinas o OGP ang lahat ng legal na paraan at proseso upang ikaw ay maging isang responsableng gun owners. Ano pa hinihintay nyo, mga kaganers? Sali na sa One Gun Pilipinas ngayon na. Responsable ka bang gun owner? At mahaba ba ang iyong pasensya? At hindi ba intin ang iyong ulo? Alam mo rin ba ang batas hinggil sa pag-iingat ng baril o firearms? Kung hindi,
A responsible gun owner?
Are you 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 a responsible gun owner? The PNP Civil Security Group would like to advise all firearms holders to renew their license to own and possess firearms and firearms registration.
magandang gabi Pilipinas, magandang gabi Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao, magandang gabi sa iyo Los Biminda. Abay, nagulat kayo, no? Tayo po naka-tsempo ngayon na makapag-live pero ito po ay isa pa ring remote live streaming. Siyempre po dito po tayo ngayon sa lalawigan ng Bulacan. Ako saan po siyempre sa inyong programang Tropa Friday edition, siyempre dito lang sa Millennial Online TV News and Updates. At siyempre po ako pa rin inyong magiging kasama, ROCEL Lopez. Magandang gabi po sa ating mga dabarkan, sa ating mga netizen. Good evening po sa inyo. Magandang gabi. Abay, ano ba mga nangyari? Ano ba mga naganap nitong mga nakakaraan, no? Siyempre, nagsagawa ng isang rally for peace, no? Ang sambayan ng Pilipino, siyempre pinangunahan yan ng sektang Iglesia ni Cristo na ginawa po dyan sa Luneta Grandstand. No, kailan lang yan at talaga namang nakita nyo naman ay apaw na apaw, no? Hindi lamang sa Luneta Grandstand hanggang saan na umabot na hanggang Taft Avenue, no? Sa Maynila at hanggang doon sa may Roas Boulevard, no? Ay talaga namang apaw na apaw, no? At syempre hindi lang yon, nag-downs din at nakiisa rin ng iba't ibang kababayan natin sa iba't ibang lugar, iba-ibang probinsya na kung saan doon sila nagsagawa at nakiisa sa rally for peace, no? Na ito'y para sa kapayapaan na yun. Wala, talaga naman tama naman po ang ginawa po ng Iglesia ni Cristo na dapat magkaisa, na dapat ay puro kapayapaan dahil ang nakasalalay po rito ay sambayan ng Pilipino. Yung nakita nyo po doon sa rally for peace ay wala pa ho sa 1/4 yun. O 1/4 pa lang, sabihin natin 1/4 pa lang. Pero napakarami hong Pilipino, no, na umaasa na maging maganda ang sitwasyon, ang kalagayan ng bawat Pilipino dito sa Pilipinas. Siyempre, bansa natin to alangan naman ko, no? So, kaya dapat to magkaisa. Kaya yung ibang mga mababatas na sinasabi po doon na sinasabing sila'y tutulong at sang-ayon sa advokasya, no? At ano ko ng ating Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Jr., sundin natin. Hindi, meron pa rin impeachment sa ating Vice President. Dapat nga pagkasunduin nyo. Ano ba problema? Pagkasunduin nyo, yun ang pinakamaganda. Hindi, gatungan dito, gatungan doon, walang mangyayari pagka ganun. Bueno mga kaibigan, oras natin sa udyat, alas 7:18 ng gabi, Philippine Standard Time. At tuloy-tuloy tayo sa ating programang Tropa. At syempre po ako pa rin ninyo magiging kasama, ROCEL Lopez at your service. At syempre magandang gabi sa ating mga kagunners, no, ng One Gun Pilipinas, no, sa pangunguna po ng ating presidente. Walang iba po kundi si Kuya Asher Maghinang. At syempre po yung ating admin, no, si admin Coricsman, no, ng One Gun Pilipinas. Magandang gabi po sa inyo. Ayan. Alam nyo, sa totoo lang, itong ating mga kuya na to, wala ho tayong masasabi riyan. Talaga namang napakagagaling po yung mga yan. Kaya magandang gabi sa ating mga kuya, sa ating mga kagunners, no? Hindi lamang dito sa Pilipinas, kundi maging sa ibang bansa. Dahil po mamaya ay itatalakay natin yung kanila pong ginawang pagtalakay, no? Ang hinggil pa rin sa One Gun Pilipinas sa Gunners Talk, kung saan yung pong gun owners dito sa bansa at gun owners sa US. Mamaya malalaman natin yan, siyempre po sa pangunguna ni Admin Coricsman. Okay, at tayo magandang gabi rin sa ating mga kababayan Luzon, Visayas at Mindanao, at siyempre po sa ating mga katropa peeps, no, sa ating mga kuya, ate, bunso at Friends of Eagles. Abay, magandang gabi sa inyo. Welcome sa programang Tropa. At siyempre po tayo po ay naka-remote live streaming, siyempre po dito lamang sa lalawigan ng Bulacan, no? At magandang gabi sa ating kuya. Ayan, nanonood sa atin. Nakita natin si Kuya Christian J. Gatasi, no? Ang ating kasama sa Cellar 45 Media Rider Eagles Club. Abay, palakpakan mo nga, Mr. J. Ayan. Ating nga po palang technical engineer ay si Mr. J. Abay, kasama natin yan lagi. Kung saan tayo nandun, siyempre sidekick natin yan. Hindi po pwedeng mawala yan. Wala, kuya-kuy kami. Wala akong magawa. At actually, buti ito na i-set up uli niya, no? Kasi ang dala lang mo namin dito sa Bulacan laptop. Kaya medyo mahirap po, no? Kaya kuwan. Ayun, sabi sa atin ni Kuya Christian J. Kuya Pres, magandang gabi raw. Sabi niya gano'n, maganda ka pa sa gabi, Kuya. At siguro, Kuya, maya-maya, wait mo, tatawagan kita, no? Usap tayo. Isasalang lang natin yung video ng One Gun Pilipinas kung saan tinalakay yung pagiging isang gun owner, no, dito sa Pilipinas at gun owner sa ibang bansa, partikular sa US. Alam ko may bisita si si Admin Coricsman. Ito po ay recorded earlier at ngayon lang natin may ipapalabas. Okay, sa mga kaibigan, at bago tayo magpatuloy, abay, belated happy birthday sa aming kuya, sa aking Kuya Vice, no? Ang ating pong Vice President ng Media Rider Eagles Club, walang iba kundi po si Kuya Angelo Malikdem Makaraig. Abay, palakpakan natin, Mr. J. Ayan, si Kuya Angelo Makaraig. Belated happy birthday, Kuya A. At many more birthdays to come at more power. Ayan, at syempre sa yung business lalo pang lumago. Okay, at nag-thumbs up sa atin si Kuya Christian. Ayan, hintay mo lang, Kuya Christian. At after kung maisa lang yung video, tatawagan na kita. Okay, at yun po, si Kuya Christian, sumama rin po yan doon sa Rally for Peace, no? Dito lamang nakaraan. At talaga namang ako'y nahandun din. Problema, hindi kami nagkita-kita. Buti pa sila nila Ate Gina nagkita-kita, no? At yun. At siguro mga, siyempre, pina-edit pa natin sa ating kay Mr. J, yung po nangyaring Rally for Peace, no? Pina-edit pa natin at ilalabas natin siguro sa mga susunod na araw. Okay mga kaibigan, tuloy-tuloy tayo sa ating programang Tropa. Siyempre dito lang sa Millennium Online TV at ang oras natin sa udyat, alas 7:23 po ng gabi, Philippine Standard Time. At buti pa, huwag na natin pagtagalin, ano, at itunghin na natin yung pong ginawang pagtalakay nitong sina Coricsman, no, dito po sa ng One Gun Pilipinas, kung saan po ay yung pong ginawang pagtalakay, no, doon po sa gun owners sa Pilipinas at gun owners po sa ibang bansa, particular po sa US. So mga kaibigan, at panoorin po natin, at wag po kayong kukura. Pwede po kayong magtanong, pwede kayong magbigay ng inyong opinion, at para malalaman din po yan ng ating mga admin dyan po sa One Gun Pilipinas. So narito po mga katropa.
Alright, magandang gabi. One Gun Pilipinas, Gunners Talk Philippines, mga kababayan, mga kapatid sa One Gun Pilipinas, magandang gabi po sa inyo. Yan, Sir Jun Francisco, magandang gabi po, no? Good evening, sir. Good evening. Magandang gabi po sa inyo. Sir Jun Francisco, sir. Ayan. Live po tayo. Hintayin natin ang pagsampa ngayon ng ating Sir Rob Layton, no? Ayan. Ang ating guest ngayong gabi. Ngayon ay member na po ng One Gun Pilipinas, no? He was endorsed by Sir Chris Barin, no? Isa dati nating Pilipino citizen na nag-serve sa US Army po, si Sir Chris Barin. Thank you very much po sa papasama sa atin kay Sir Rob Layton, no? Opo. Ayan. So Sir Jadin Arevalo, no? I hope sana makasampa ang no, makasampa ang Sir Al-Mustafa Gibran sa live, no? Ayan. Excuse me. Ayan, medyo late po tayo, galing kami ni Mrs. sa Green Hills kanina, no? Ayan, Sir Rob, please you can join now, no? So, yan, sana makita na ni Sir, no? So, maganda po yung pag-uusapan natin ngayong gabi, mga kapatid. This is about, no? Yung ating gun ownership sa Pilipinas at gun ownership sa Amerika, no? So, Sir Tolen, magandang gabi. Sam Montecalvo is watching, yan. Julius Miguel Saludes, good evening po. Raizen Hernandez, magandang gabi. Sir Jadin Arevalo, Jun Francisco, si Sir John Gomez Quijano, magandang gabi po sa inyo, no? Sir Nel Briones, Gerardo Banikid. Bigla ang live ba, sir? No, sir. At it is announced, no? Kasi ang ating bisita po ay si Sir Rob Layton, no? Na po, siya po yung ating bisita. Ayan. Sir Elmer Mijares, Sir D.G.R. Agustin, Robert Arellano, magandang gabi po. Si Sir D.G.R. Agustin, magandang gabi. Sir Hammer Ardena, yan. Maraming salamat po. Maganda ang ating topic, manood po tayo. At ayan, hinihintay lang natin yung pagpasok ng ating guest, no? Yan, alright. Actually, sir, you can join the live, Sir Rob, no? Kailangan ko siyang hugutin si Sir Rob, no? You can push the button, sir, to join the live, Sir Rob Layton, sir. I think you have to check on the left side of your screen, Sir Rob Layton. Yeah. So you could join in my live. Sir Rob, ay, naku, hindi yata niya alam paano mag-join sa live, no? Alright. I think I need to call him, no? Hey, sir. Good evening, sir. Good evening. On the left side of your screen, you're facing the screen of your cam, you will see it's like a 4 box there. If you click it, so you could join my live, sir. Yeah. You see that one? You see the one? On the other side, on the lower portion of the screen, sir, there is a box there. It's like a 4 box. Then if you click it, then it will you can join the live, sir. I think. You please try the lower side of, yeah. You see it? All right. You saw it, sir? Yes, sir. Yeah, I hear you, sir.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't see anything.
Are you looking at my screen, sir? Are you looking at my screen?
Yeah, I'm looking at your live screen.
There on the other left side of the the screen, there was a 4 box, something like that there. You could push it, then you'll join the live. Yeah, you see it?
I don't see any box.
I think you need to go out of your screen and refresh your phone. And you go back to my live using my Coricsman page.
Maybe it's because I'm on my laptop.
Yeah, maybe. You can go to your cell phone, sir. You can go to your cell phone.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. So yun, hindi siya makapasok pala si Sir Rob kasi nandoon siya sa cellphone, sa laptop, no? Siguro sa phone na lang siya mag-communicate sa atin. So, good evening, Sir Elmer Mijares. Magandang gabi po sa inyo, no? So, hintayin natin si Sir Rob, no? Sa cellphone na lang po siya magpapasok at mag-join sa atin. Sir Rodrigo Espinosa, magandang gabi po sa inyo. Magandang gabi po. Thank you for watching, no? So, sana makapasok si Sir Rob, no? Kasi ang ganda po ng ating topic. Ang topic natin ay gun ownership sa Pilipinas at gun ownership sa Amerika, no? So, there will be a comparison. Maganda po ito. Amerikano na po yung ating, yung ating bisita, no? Kasi na nakaraan, sana may bisita tayong Pilipino na nagpunta sa Amerika. And this time, ito po, mas maganda kasi talagang Amerikano na po, no? So, this is an American citizen who is staying in the Philippines right now. Pero, totoong Amerikano, mga kapatid, no? Hindi Pilipino, no? So, at this guy is a former military man, ano? So, sana makapasok si Sir Rob, no? O, yan na siya. Yun. Sana makapasok si Sir Rob, no? He's joining right now, no? To our live.
There we go.
Hey, sir. Good evening. Good evening, sir. Good evening. Hey, good evening, sir. At least
Good evening.
Yeah. Thank you for dropping by. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now we're in business.
Yeah. I'm sorry I got late. We are scheduled for 8 p.m. But you know what? My wife and I went to Green Hills to buy something, And anyways, we already start the live, sir. I think I need to introduce you to our viewers.
Sure.
So, uh, for start, Sir Robert Layton is, a former U.S. military. He's a U.S. Army, ladies and gentlemen. And he's from the airborne unit, right, sir? The
Yeah, you can
airborne
see my
unit.
hat.
You almost served for about 7 years, right? 7 years in the military service. Yeah.
Yeah, 3.5 years full time, and then the rest of it was reserve.
Okay, okay. During that time, you don't really you don't really you're not in the National Guard, sir. Are you in the National Guard during that time?
During the reserve, yeah, we would do National Guard. Yeah.
And you were trained in Fort Benning, right?
Yes, Fort Benning, the home of the infantry and the airborne and ranger and all that stuff down there.
All right. And you fought in Vietnam?
Oh no, I'm
I
after
thought
that.
I thought you look young when you fought in Vietnam, right? You
Yeah,
look young.
I was 17 years old. That was 1983.
So you know what, ladies and gentlemen, our guest for tonight is a distinguished serviceman medal awardee. Soldier's Medal, Sharpshooter Badge, Top Gun Award of the U.S. Coast Guard 100-ton Master Captain. Wow, what a credential, sir! Huh? What a credential.
I've been around a little bit.
Yeah. You know what? It's an honor for us to have you here, sir. No, I will give you the floor to introduce yourself, sir. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I joined the military. I grew up on a farm. We used guns regularly on the farm, and so I thought it was kind of easy for me to join the military and learn how to fight and learn weapons and all that. So and I was very patriotic at the time. So I joined the day I turned 17. I joined the Army. They sent me directly to Fort Benning, Georgia, and jumped off the bus and got yelled at for 3 months. It was a good. It was a good
When
experience.
you joined the Army, when you enlist in the Army. At the age of what, sir? At the age of what?
17.
Wow.
Yeah, when I turned 17. Yeah.
So
and then,
yeah.
Yeah, I was, I really wanted to serve time in the military, and I liked it. I did it very well because I was naturally disciplined when I grew up on the farm, so the discipline did not faze me a bit. I actually liked the discipline part of it. Some of the physical stuff was very difficult for me. It was especially, in the advanced training, the runs and when you had all your, gear on and doing 20, 30 miles, things like that was probably some of the hardest times of my life doing that stuff. So, but I learned a lot, learned how not to quit.
Yeah, yeah, that's very important, sir.
Yeah, and I didn't quit, so that's the most important thing.
You know what? Being a serviceman, sir, that's you're mentioning of learning not to quit. It's a very important thing that a uniform personnel should learn during his basic training, sir. You know what? During the training, you know what? When I was young, when I went joined the service, sir, I'm just 26 years old. But you're older than me. You're younger than me when you joined the service, right?
Yeah.
That's the time when I realized that life is not really easy. Do you agree, sir?
Correct.
You know what? We're going in a mud, in a the toilet overthrow water, something like that. You produce bubbles there. But that teaches a lot of lessons, sir. You know what? And teaches a lot of lessons to be too strong and to persevere in situations that No, we cannot call anybody, but we will depend on ourselves and our fellow uniform personnel. That's the good thing
Yeah,
about the training, yeah. Anyway, sir,
exactly.
as a background there, at early age, you already using guns, as you mentioned, huh?
Yeah, I was really good at rifle because one of my hobbies was shooting ground squirrels at about 200 yards.
Mm.
So, when I got in and I qualified for my marksman and sharpshooter, it was pretty easy because it was ideal situation. It's not like on the farm where you have variables. So at the range, it's a very ideal situation. So you're laying prone and you got a rifle rest and you got these little pop-up targets that I think I qualified at 450 meter, and I hit 20 out of 20 on my first try.
Wow,
So
it's perfect, right? It's perfect.
yeah, some other things I didn't do so well, but that I excelled. And
Anyway,
then
uh, that skills of yours, maybe somebody taught you that, right? That skill of yours.
yeah, my brothers, when I grew up, and then of course when I joined the military, they perfected my skills. They really taught me how to, shoot very small target and very long range. So that I really, benefited from that. I had a really good sergeant that taught me. He was a sniper in Vietnam, and he really taught me well. And then the other thing is I grew up respecting firearms. My parents really drilled into me. A firearm is dangerous. It's a weapon, and you never point it at anybody. You never use it.
Responsibly.
Yeah, we never had any issues growing up, and our community, no one ever got injured by a firearm. It's because we all knew how to use it ever since we were very small. So it came naturally.
I remember, sir, when I think that's year 2004 or 3. I watched, a, a news in your, international. I think that's CNN News or another Fox News. There was a guy that was interviewed and that was asked by the reporter. It's the guy is a weapon expert, firearm expert, should I say. Then the reporter asked the firearm expert, how will you say how will you explain that guns is we really need to gun controls in the US to implement gun control in the US. Then this guy, the firearm expert, answered. What he said is that ma'am, he said, ma'am, having a firearm in your household is like having a swimming pool in your backyard. He said, you have to teach your sons and daughters how to swim so they will not get drowned.
Right.
And same thing with gun. And he said, we need education and discipline. That is why in One Gun Pilipina, Sir Rob, that is our main objective, the training and education. Because we believe when our members is already properly trained and we give them proper mindset, discipline will follow. Discipline will follow. So that's what we believe in our group. Yeah. Anyway, sir, this a good part of this question is that as a young American, having the rights, we are well as we all know here in the Philippines, you have gun rights there, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Tama.
Being an American, you have that gun rights. During your childhood until now, you have that gun right, right? You
Yes.
enjoy it. You enjoy it. As a matter of fact, you enjoy it. That kind of right, do you think is it brings us danger to public safety, sir? Is there any danger in public safety when there is gun right in the U.S.?
Well, the way it is, yes and no. there is a danger because you have a certain amount of the population who doesn't respect weapons, uses them, they use them irresponsibly, they use them recklessly, and that's the problem is how do you control that, right? The problem is it only takes a few to make it look bad, right?
Yeah.
It's not the majority. It's probably 5% or less that make it look bad. The 95% of Americans probably are pretty responsible, but
There are
you
some.
need to be able to, you need to be able to figure out how to get those 5% that are reckless or irresponsible to have them unable to buy a weapon, and that's the challenge, right? And so until they figure that one out, there's always going to be a problem in the U.S.
So you
But,
answered yes. For public safety, there's a 5% who violate or undisciplined gun holder, right?
and that's a lot,
And
right?
yeah, that's a lot because you have a big population in the U.S., right?
Population.
Yeah. Then you will say no. The others, you say no and yes, right? So we go to your no. We go to your no, sir, now. No, because?
So it can be used for self-protection. It can be used against criminals because most of the people that use weapons illegally in the U.S. have purchased them or stolen them illegally. So most of the time, like you hear news like there's 20 shootings in Chicago last night, or I think it's like 100 every night. I mean, it's a really crazy
Wow.
number.
Wow,
it's a big
100 a
number.
night, sir. Wow.
But about probably 100% of those shootings are from drug dealers or drug-related shootings
Sir, I'm
that
sorry,
they don't
did I
have.
hear right? 100 shooting a night?
I think it's up to like not on the average, but I think a couple months ago I heard that there was one weekend that they had 130 shootings in one night.
Oh my goodness, that's dangerous, sir. And
Yeah.
see?
But there's so many gangs and drugs and all that in Chicago. It's like the worst city in the U.S. There has to be, in my opinion, if there is a big problem like that in a certain area, then that area they should really restrict, not just, the problem is not the legal guns because the people that buy them legally are not doing the shooting. It's the gangs that are stealing them or buying them illegally. Those are the guys that are actually shooting. So they have to clean up the crime first and then figure out, how do we control that? So again, it's more of a crime problem, and a certain culture in these big cities that don't respect law. They don't respect, life. They don't respect how to use a weapon, things like that. So they need to eliminate that part of it. But that's the challenge in the U.S. Here in the Philippines, it's a different problem. But some of it's similar. The discipline and the respect and all that maybe is similar. And if you suddenly give gun rights to a population like in the Philippines, they'll go crazy, right? They'll
Yeah. Well,
they
you
won't have
mentioning
any discipline,
Philippines, sir. You mentioning Philippines. You know what? In social media forums, sir, we always debate. We are always comparing in the U.S. U.S. citizens they have gun rights. They could buy guns that they want, and still U.S. is peaceful. No, it sounds like they're but why America? They have all guns, but it's peaceful. It's they respect each other. They don't shoot each other like sometimes information's was it is very misleading, right, sir? As you have mentioned, there was an incident, 100 shooting just a single night.
Right.
It's the first time I heard this, sir. This kind of information. That's very alarming, sir. So so same reason they're buying unlicensed or unregistered firearm, right? I think you're
Right.
calling that in the US ghost gun, right? Am I correct, sir? They call it ghost gun.
No, they just call it the ghost gun is guns that are made out of like 3D print, so you can't
And,
they can't scan. If they scan them, they don't show up. But these are just weapons that the gangs got in the black market or illegally purchased from someone to something like that. And quite frankly, the private sale, the biggest problem in the U.S. is there's private sales going on all the time. So if I could go to my neighbors and buy a gun from him, and nobody in the U.S. government would never know about it, right? Even though it's illegal, but it's easily done, and people do it all the time.
I heard a friend of mine. He said you could buy an illegal firearm in the car park. Is that true, sir? Is that true?
Oh yeah, I mean you could just make a deal with somebody in the parking lot. You know,
Yeah.
it could happen anytime, anywhere. That's why all these crazy people have guns in the U.S. because it's so easy to purchase them without going through the proper channels. Yeah.
All right, sir. Thank you very much for the information. At least those watching right now, our Filipino friends and our Filipino audience and members of One Gun Pilipinas is, getting the right information from you, sir. You know what? 2 days ago, I supposed to have a guest who's a Filipino citizen who went to US, and suddenly our live was canceled, and now you're here. It's better for an American to be here in our life to give us information, more reliable information because you're an American, sir. No?
But
And
let me explain a little bit why there's gun rights in the U.S. because a lot of people are confused about it. Most people, even most Americans are confused about it. If you ask some Americans, not probably a minority, but it's like the loud minority,
Yeah.
The loud minority will tell you there's just gun rights because we have a right to be able to use it for a sport. We have a right to be able to protect ourselves. We have a right to use it for hunting and things like that. But the way the law was written, 200 years ago, the wordage in the law, it says, number one, the title is right to bear arms. Well, the sentence to bear arms is a military word. It's when you sling a weapon on your shoulder, you're going to war, you're bearing arms. You're picking up arms and you're going to war, you're going to a fight.
So you mean, sir, it is being misconstrued? Am I correct? Misconstrued?
Yes, it is. And so the original law was if the U.S. government started to be a dictatorship and would not
become tyrannical, right?
Become tyrannical, it's the right of the U.S. citizens to stand up and go against the tyrannical government. So that was the main purpose of the right to bear arms. It's not I have a right to go out and shoot a deer. That's not the reason why the law was there. They've turned it into that. They've if you listen to the media, it's just I just want to be able to, hunt or target practice or something like that. But that's not the reason why the law was originally written. So you have to go back to why it was there. So most countries will not accept that, right? Most countries no, that's the reason why we don't want people to bear arms, because we don't want them to go against the government, right?
Yes, sir.
The very reason why the U.S. has a law is probably the very reason why other countries don't have the law. So that's the big difference between the U.S. and other countries. Now, like we talked about, this young generation, maybe they're not disciplined enough. Maybe they don't understand the reason why there's a law like that, or the reason why they have a right to bear arms. So they are using it for the wrong reason. So now they think, I can do anything I want with a weapon. I can just, if I have an argument with somebody, I can go out and shoot him or something like that. But that's not the reason why the law was written. It wasn't really written to defend myself against my neighbor. It was written to defend myself against a tyrannical government. So it's a big difference. difference if you think about it. So when I grew up, that's what I was taught by my parents. They told me the reason why you have a right to have this rifle is because if our government becomes tyrannical, we can go against it. But don't you ever use it against your neighbor or
Actually,
against
we
your
call it
fellow man.
militia, right? We call it militia, sir. Militia, right?
Well, you could call it that, but if every citizen in the United States stood up and went against the government, it's no longer a militia, right?
Yeah.
Let's be a little group somewhere. It's like a rebel group or something like that.
Okay,
But again,
for a while, sir, I will tell our audience right now. See, what is Sir Rob is talking about. This is very clear. The gun, the rights in the U.S. is not for sporting or for deer hunting. It's for you know what, going against a tyrannical government. It's not for such purpose. It is misconstrued. So, ladies and gentlemen, member of One Gun Pilipinas, this is very clear. Sir Rob Layton is saying this. It's a good information to everyone. So we will not be confused of this, of this information, sir. Sir, you can continue now. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
yeah. So in my experience, because I understood that growing up and because my parents drilled that into me, my respect for weapons is very high, and also my respect for human life was very high. So I wouldn't dare bring a gun to an argument because that's not the reason why I have it. If I have an argument, I should settle that argument with my fellow citizen in a civil manner, right? Or through the law or something like that. Because my weapon is not to be for that purpose. But now they think because I have a right to buy a weapon to use it however I want. So now the mentality has changed. And so they don't respect the law to why it was written, and they don't respect the weapon that they purchased. So, it's like I've seen a lot of cases in the U.S., especially the young generations, where they handle a weapon just carelessly. It's like they'll aim it at people. They'll just, throw it around like it's a toy, like it's something to play with. And that's to us, a weapon is a weapon. You don't actually. We didn't call them guns. We called them weapons. When I went to basic training, if I called the M16 a gun, oh man, my drill sergeant would just give me a horrible time. I would be kicked around for the next week. So it's always a weapon, because a weapon is used against some person. That's what a weapon is for. So that's why we should really train people on that concept. A gun is not a toy. It's a weapon, and it can kill people. How are you going to use it, right? Why are you using it? So it's very important.
Yeah. Actually, Sir Rob, that is our mission here in One Gun Pilipinas. What you are discussing right now is what we are trying to teach to our members here in our group. And thank you very much, Sir Rob. You joined the group. I think you will do more with us. Our advocacy is the same with yours, to teach, to educate, and instill discipline to our members, especially here in the Philippines, sir. Thank you very much for your time. So we have more things to do, Sir Rob.
Yeah.
And yeah. And you know what? It's we learn a lot for a minute of your statement, discussion. We learn a lot from U.S. laws and the incidents and facts regarding gun ownership in the U.S. Especially, I cannot move on those from your statement that there is 100 shooting incident just a single night. You know what? What is that? A battleground or it's like wow.
It's like a war zone.
Amazing. Yeah, it's a war zone. War zone, actually. You were going to describe it. Maybe there's maybe a drug, drug war. It's something like that. With, other syndicate, something like that. Yeah. Mm. But that's very alarming. 100 gunfight in a single night. So most of the time, sir, in the Philippines, because there was a confusion that what maintains the peace in the U.S. is the civilian people have their own firearm in their household. And yet you're saying that there is 100 incident of shooting just a single night. So it is not true, really. You know, it's not true, really. Yeah, it means a, a society that has so uncontrolled firearms, it will become chaos, right? Yeah.
Yeah, just one last comment is the way the law was written and how people respected it 100 years ago or even 50 years ago, it worked because people had a certain moral, ethical, and respectful attitude. But it's not the case anymore. So the gun situation in the U.S. is only good if the moral state of the public is at a level where they're not killing each other. You know, they're not using it against each other. But as soon as that happens, then it becomes very chaotic.
That is why here in One Gun Pilipinas, sir, sometimes we have topics here in our live about moral recovery, character building. You know what? Sometimes we give Bible verses, sir. So spiritual intervention. That is why we are doing that, because you know what? What we are trying to drive people at is to avoid confrontation, avoid conflict, avoid friction with fellow human beings, sir.
Yeah.
Anyway, until now, I cannot still move on to your information about Chicago. You know what?
Chicago's the worst. It's really bad. You don't want to walk through there at night. You know, it's really bad.
Yeah. Anyway, maybe the police there are receiving a big salary because of that race, right? Maybe yes, maybe not.
I think they're ignoring a lot of it. They don't want to deal with the gangs. They just allow it to happen. Yeah.
So it's like brushing putting their hands on their shoulders, something like that, just to ignore it.
Right.
Well, it's if you're a law enforcer and you have that chaotic kind of environment, I think you will choose to be quiet because you will put your life and limb and the life of your family into a great risk, sir. Yeah.
I think that's that's one of the big reasons. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, sir, you're still, I think you said you're 10 years, you have already 10 years of stay here in the Philippines, right?
Yeah.
Now, if may I ask you, if you will not feel if it's not too much for you, sir, if it is not too much for you, where do you think is the most peaceful place for you? Your place in the U.S. or in the Philippines? Yeah.
Well, I was working in Seattle when my career I was a mechanical engineer after I got out of the Army. Yeah, in the military, and then I worked for the Boeing company. I was an engineer on the airplane
company, sir, Boeing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll say that for the most part, as safe as far as my life at danger, not really. Where we were at in the States, we were in Everett. We weren't in Seattle so much. I worked in Everett, although we did live in Seattle for a little bit. I never feared for my life. You know, it's not like L.A. or Chicago or one of those cities. So it all depends on where you're at.
It's also a dangerous city, right? L.A. Is it also a dangerous city?
Yeah, L.A. is also very, very dangerous. L.A., Louisiana. You know, they just had that big mass shooting in Louisiana, you know, in New Orleans. Those are areas where, you know, New York, those are famous areas that's dangerous, you know. So all depends on where. The U.S. is so big of a country. Yeah. My sister, for example, lives in Alabama. And, you know, you can leave your doors open. You never lock your car. It's just no one steals anything. It's just life in the South, you know, it's very safe. But you would dare not do that in LA or even in Seattle. I had my car parked in a church. We went to church. Ironically, we went to church. We were inside the church, and this is in Seattle. And then when I got out of church, my windows were broken and my stereo was stolen in the church parking lot.
Oh. Wow.
That's pretty crazy, huh?
Yeah.
I never thought that would ever happen in a church parking lot, you know?
Well,
So,
sir,
yeah.
now, can I rephrase the question? Can I rephrase the question, sir?
Yeah.
Can I rephrase, sir? Maybe you stayed in Manila, right? In the city of Manila, right?
Mm.
Maybe you, can we compare Manila and LA? Who's the most peaceful between Manila and city of Manila and LA? Who's the most peaceful there? So, comparing the both city, do you think so?
I would say Manila is.
That's what I'm expecting, sir, because a lot of also friends in the US and they say, it's more safer in Manila. You go to New York, you go to the Bronx, especially to the Bronx, sir. They're mentioning a lot of that, and Chicago, as you mentioned. So comparing to that city, Manila is more peaceful.
Yeah, because
it would be asked.
You know, I go to LA about once a year because I have to go to Mexico to work on my stuff down there, and just walking down the street in LA makes me nervous. I see drugs on the street. I see people that I know that are drug addicts walking past me all the time, and really like tripping out.
Hey,
Like
sir, somebody's joking. That guy commented here down. They said that's why here there are many superhero in America.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, you can continue now. It's very funny, you know.
They're so tripped out on drugs, they don't feel it, you know. So, but I went to a Starbucks this last year. I was in LA and I went to a Starbucks, and I had to step over drug addicts to get to the counter to buy a cup of coffee. I mean, it was that bad. It's just really, you know, just like you're wondering, you know, you're hanging on to your wallet, just wondering when somebody's gonna try to rob you.
And you're gonna avoid irritating them. Maybe they will hurt your
Yeah, and they also what's really crazy is, at least California anyway, they have more laws protecting that drug addict than they do me. So if I try to do something with that person, the law is going to be against me, not them. It's baliktad. It's just it's upside down. It's really weird, but that's why it's much more safe to be in Manila, because Manila, at least they keep the drugs off the street. They I mean, there's drugs in Manila, but not in front of your face.
Yeah.
Right?
It's not happening, sir. Actually, it's not happening.
Yeah, they're not dealing in front of you. You know, it's really wild situation, and I just didn't feel safe at all in LA, and I don't. Yeah.
Actually, sir, the reason why I asked that, you know what, some Filipinos said, it's very dangerous in the Philippines. When you go outside of your house, you already have threats, something like that, you know what. That is why what I'm trying to drive at is, we are comparing what do you have in the US and what we have here in the Philippines. I'm asking this because a lot of people is, you know what, we need guns, we need more guns, more, the government, the Philippine National Police cannot protect us anymore. So, you know what, sometimes people are confused with that statement, right? So we just want to correct it, and we have to, most of the time they compare America and the Philippines about law and order, gun ownership, gun rights, gun privileges, something like that. You know what? Here in the Philippines, we don't have gun rights, actually. We have privilege.
Privilege.
It's a privilege. I think when your daughter will become 21 years old, you will get guns for him, right?
Yeah. Well, one of my daughters has a gun. She has a permit, and the other one just turned 21, so we'll get her permit also.
The male one, the criminology student, right?
Yeah, the criminology student. Yep. And then, then my wife has one also. So,
he's also a firearm owner.
But here's here's the crazy reason why I would suggest somebody to have weapons in the Philippines is if a foreign threat
Yes,
happens.
actually, that's the reason.
That,
Not a very good reason. Yes, sir.
that's the to me that's the only reason, except for just target practice and maybe competitive sport or something like that is fun. I would like to join that myself. That would be fun. But
We
other
call it
than that,
in times of peace. We should prepare for a war, right?
right.
Yeah.
And so I mean, there's an active threat of a foreign threat here in the Philippines. So if it ever happens, I'm not going to be shooting Filipinos. I'm going to be shooting the foreign threat, right? So, I mean, if you
Enemies of the state, right?
exactly, if you have a problem with your fellow Filipino and you get into a physical confrontation and you pull out a weapon and shoot them, you just started a lifelong problem with yourself.
Yeah.
Even if you're legal, even if you did it legally and you're protecting yourself or something like that, what's the chances of the family of that person that shot you go after you illegally? There's so many problems that will happen because of that. So it would be the very, very last resort. It'd be like, okay, I'm dead if I don't pull the trigger type of thing.
Yes, sir.
And usually that's not the case. Usually it's just over an argument, a fight, somebody gets mad or somebody gets drunk and somebody gets shot. It's not a very smart confrontation. So smart confrontation is defusing the situation without using...
Actually, Sir Rob, we have here our own formula. We invented our formula here. We have that so-called assess and evaluate plus verbal containment and de-escalation equals. The output is zero engagement, sir. That's our formula here. We are on the same page, Sir Rob, actually.
Bravo.
Yeah.
But it's the foreign threat makes me a little nervous, especially with, I'm not going to name names, but people that are taking over islands that are like a stone throw away. It makes me kind of nervous.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
actually, that is why, sir, in our group, in One Gun Pilipinas, in our group, we are preparing our people and we are encouraging them to join the reservist program of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. So far, we have our 80 Marines reservists right now. And 60 of them will go to training this February, sir. And,
that's great.
We will recruit more. Those interested to join the reservist program, we will bring them in their service journey in the Armed Forces of the Philippines, sir.
If I could legally do it, I would join also.
Yeah. But I think you will do more with us in One Gun Pilipinas because we need people like you to be part of our training and education program, sir.
Yeah,
and thank you very much for spending your time with us. Yeah.
I'll do whatever I can. If I can help a little, that's great. And it's also about building relationships. I really want to have good relationships, and I have utmost respect for people in the military and the PNP. Those are the type of people I want to be friends with. So that's a big part of it.
Yeah. And you know what, Sir Rob? What is the reason why we are talking about gun ownership and gun in the Philippines and gun ownership in the US? That we have to to put period on confusion on those misinformation that is plaguing the social media. Misinformation, fake news, fake information. We thank you very much, sir, for the time. I hope this will be it will become regular program.
Sure.
Join our regular program. We will have our topics to discuss, and it's very important that people will receive more education learnings. For them to become more disciplined.
Well, I think just one last note is it's not that hard to buy a weapon in the Philippines if you're a Filipino citizen, if you don't have a bad record, and it's not that hard. So there actually there shouldn't be much complaint about it, about the system. Maybe I should complain because I can't because I'm a foreigner. But if you're a Filipino, it's not that hard. So and you can just it costs money. That's maybe the only issue is it isn't cheap to get all the permits for a weapon. But you can if you have the money, and if you act responsible, you can buy as many as you want. If you get all the permits, so it shouldn't be any problem for anybody that really pursues it and wants to be able to buy weapons here.
Yeah, Sir Rob, another question. Anyway, you opened that part of the topic. We heard that in the U.S. there are different firearm law in different states. Like,
yes,
am I correct? Am I correct, sir? Oh.
Yes.
So, beside you have already what the so-called ATF rules, right?
Yeah.
Beside ATF rules, there is also a different firearm laws in different states, sir. Is that correct?
Tama.
Wow. Now the question is, for example, in what state? For example, they said in the California, if you have a 15-shooter magazine, you could only put 10, right?
Yeah.
So I think. So what is the reason behind why they do that in California?
They're just afraid of mass shooters. So if they think that if they can get rid of the big magazines, that the person can't easily fire off 30 rounds at once or 50 rounds at once or something like that. So if they give him only 10 rounds, then he can only shoot 10 people.
All right. So that limit will will be in the advantage of the law enforcement officers, right?
Yeah.
So
they'll give them a fighting chance because the guy has to reload, and hopefully during him trying to reload, they already got him. So that's the reason for that law.
At least before I don't know the reason why you have a 15-round magazine, you are only allowed 10 ammunition. So that's I thank you, and at least now we are informed with that kind of the rationale behind, because we don't know that, sir. Don't know that. So
it's for the mass shooting thing, but only so far only 3 states have that law. Yeah.
Another thing, Sir Rob, there are states in the U.S. that do not allow the bat, the rifle bat stock. They only allow braces, right?
Right.
So
apparently a bump stock, I've never owned one, but you can easily turn it into a full auto. So they don't want anybody to have a full auto weapon in this, civilian hands. Semi-auto, yes, okay, but not full auto.
Same thing here in the Philippines, sir. Same thing here in the Philippines.
Yeah, only military should have the full auto, which I definitely agree with.
Yeah. So we should, we should understand that is the purpose of the law. Why is it being implemented, right? Yeah.
Now, realistically, if you're on full auto, and I spent a lot of time in the military firing weapons, and quite frankly, I never put my weapon on full auto.
Me too. I will
because
not do that. I'm wasting my resources, right?
Exactly. Right. You're just unloading your clip, and you might be able to hit 1 or 2 guys. It's ridiculous why anybody would want full auto. So I was always, one shot, one kill person. I'm not, trying to be Rambo and try to, waste all my ammo. So.
Yeah. That's true. And that is why here in Wanugan, Pilipina, sir, we are teaching one of our, when we teach our member in the firing range, we emphasize the value of shot placement, sir. So we need to conserve, we need to spend our ammo wisely. Yeah. Anyway,
Does anybody online have any questions?
I think we have to ask them. Yeah. Okay,
if they have any
mga
questions, they can
kababayan,
type.
mga kapatid sa One Gun Pilipinas, pwede po kayo magtanong ngayon kay Sir Rab, no? Ito, magandang pagkakataon. This is a good opportunity for everyone to ask question to an American friend and also a member of our group. You know, Sir Rab is, we will recognize him as one of our consultant in One Gun Pilipinas. Mga kapatid sa One Gun Pilipinas, pwede na po kayo magtanong, mga kapatid, kung may gusto kayong itanong sa ating kapatid na Rab Layton. No? So we will give them a while to think of their questions, Sir Rob. No? Actually,
Yeah, in the meantime, go ahead if you have any other questions yourself and waiting for them.
yeah, we have 1,500 viewers right now, Sir Rob.
Wow.
Yeah, I think 1,600 to be exact. We have 1,600 viewers. You know. This guy is asking, Garcia Fred, how about tax about suppressor? He's asking about the tax about suppressor, sir. Yeah.
So like a flash suppressor?
Yeah. Suppressor.
Yeah, flash suppressor is illegal for the most part in the States. Yeah, it's like putting on a silencer or something like that. You can use them like in a firing range or certain situations, but not in public. Yeah, it's illegal in public.
But there are states also that allow suppressor, right?
I think Texas and maybe some other states, pretty much no rules. Like in Texas, I think you can buy a 50 caliber machine gun. I mean, it's crazy. In Texas, you can buy almost anything you want. But there's only a few states, maybe 2 or 3 states that are that loose of rules. Yeah.
They said it's more it's when you buy a suppressor, it's like buying a new gun. No, is it true? It's expensive. Really?
No. They're I mean, you could probably buy. I mean, people make them themselves. I mean, it's not rocket science, but you could probably pick one up at a gun store for maybe $200, something like that. Yeah, $200 or $300 probably.
Oh, Sir Rob, we have a question here from Marco U. Aldais. He said, good evening, Sir Rob. What state in the U.S. can you open carry and the restriction in open carrying? That's another question for you, Sir Rob. What state in the U.S. can you open carry and the restriction in open carrying?
Okay, so they just passed a law in Texas that you can open carry without a permit. So literally, you can pack around your weapon anywhere you want, except private businesses cannot allow you in the building. But out in the public on the street, you don't have to have a permit in Texas to open carry either a rifle or a pistol. So if you want to buy a M4 and strap it on your back and walk downtown with it, nobody can do anything to you.
That's Texas, right?
Yeah. And there's a few other states like that. I think there's probably 10 states that have similar rules like that.
How about what they said in New York? You can buy rifles, but you cannot easily get pistol. What is the reason behind that, sir?
Yeah, there's too many shootings with pistols. So when I mentioned before there was 120, 130 shootings in one night, that's probably 99% pistols.
Maybe because it can be easily concealed, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
they can conceal it, or they can throw it in their car, or they can put it, underneath their jacket, and no one will know until they use it.
After using it, they can throw it on the, can throw it easily.
Yeah, throw it in the river or whatever. Yeah.
So that is why they become strict when selling pistol firearms, right?
Yes. So that's what kind of when I learned in the Philippines that the firearm is a little more difficult to get than the pistol. That was one of my surprises, because I'm thinking the pistol is usually the one that's doing most of the shooting illegally, not a rifle. So it's like it's kind of baliktad.
Yeah, baliktad, yes, sir. It's more easier for a Filipino to buy pistol than rifle here in the Philippines because of the
But
restriction.
I think I know the reason in the Philippines is because of the political
Yes,
situation.
sir.
Because
Exactly, sir. Exactly, yes, sir.
there's
Yes.
been too many people with rifles picking off the politicians and things like that. I think that's the main reason.
And way back in year 2017, we have the so-called Marawi siege, sir.
Right.
That's the reason
Exactly.
why. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, sir, comparing Philippines, gun ownership in the Philippines, gun ownership in the US, as you are mentioning right now, it seems like there are more restrictions in America, right?
In certain states, it's more restrictive there than here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, meaning it's you don't have a uniform law, right? A uniform law in different states. You have different laws and regulation, right?
Right. Right. And that's why a lot of times you get wrong information because one American might come from Texas and say, hey, we can do anything we want.
Yeah.
And another guy can come from California. Wow, the Philippines, people can easily buy a weapon when it's so hard for us in America to buy one. But he's only talking about California, so it depends on what state. Yeah.
So, if you're going to compare, it's more it's more better to have guns in the Philippines than in the US, right? What do you think, sir?
I think the rules are, as far as gun ownership, it's about the same process. You apply, they do a background check. It's about because I went through it with my wife and daughter, and I kind of coached them through it so they can understand, like the written test and why they're asking certain questions and blah 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 blah. It's pretty much kind of the same.
In just a different context, right? A different context, right?
Right, different reason why they do things, different questions and things like that, but kind of similar process. Probably the only difference is in the U.S. it's almost free to get permits. Here you pay 10,000 peso per weapon or something like that. If you want 5 weapons, it kind of adds up. It gets
Yes,
kind
sir.
of
Yes, sir.
expensive.
Like in my case, sir, my LTAP, my license is type 3. You know what?
Yeah,
I
right.
can own 10 guns, 10 firearms.
Yeah.
But lucky for me, because I'm a law enforcement officer, I have a 50% discount on the
There you
charging.
go.
But still, it's expensive, sir.
Still
Expensive.
Yeah, so that's probably, I think that's the biggest difference is here you have to pay more money because it is a privilege. So if it's really cheap, if it's free, like in the U.S.,
it will
there
be more
would be way
easier.
more
Everybody can afford it, right? Yeah.
Everybody will want a weapon, right? But so they put in the fee to restrict, and some people, if they don't have any money and they get a weapon, maybe they're going to be a little bit more desperate with it. Maybe they're not so disciplined. If you have to pay a lot of money for it, you value it more. So it puts value on it. Maybe they'll be more disciplined with it. I think there's some psychological, thing with that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a psychological effect for that because you work hard for your license and you're going to take care of it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, sir, talking about licenses, talking about charges, talking about our laws, and talking about people's mindset in owning firearm, right? We started like talking about what is gun right in the U.S., what is privilege in the Philippines, what is the different states crime index or crime volume, what we the so-called crime volume, the crime incidents, something like that. Now the question, sir, Rob, if you may allow me. Earlier, I asked you if it's more dangerous, LA or Manila, and you said it's LA, right?
Yeah.
considering that fact, sir, considering we're talking of, comparison in America, in the Philippines, about everything about guns, right?
Yeah.
You mentioned you already stay in the Philippines for 10 years, Sir Rob. Am I correct, sir?
Yeah, more than, but permanently 10 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, being in the Philippines for 10 years or more,
Yeah.
or more.
I first came here in 2003. We lived for a couple years here. Then we went back to the States for 8 years and then came back. And so I kind of have about 12 years living here, and then plus all the trips back and forth, balik, you know.
Yeah. Now, the reason why I'm trying to to conclude all the conversation that we have already mentioned, discussed with this live right now, sir, is that do you think as a an American citizen who stayed for a long time here in the Philippines, studying the culture and the traditions, the mindset of Filipinos, do you think the Filipino is ready for gun rights, like what you have in the US? Do you think we are ready?
No,
Be
not
honest,
at
sir.
all.
Be honest, right? Yeah.
Yeah, not at all. Unfortunately, not at all. Because, I mean, to be honest, to be blatantly honest, just driving down the street would tell me that there's not enough discipline for the masses to own weapons. I just sadly that's the case here. Now, granted, probably most of the population is ready, but you have too much of the population is absolutely not ready. So that's the biggest problem. Yeah.
Actually, that's the point, sir. That's when I'm having my life. I always mention that when you drive your car, somebody will cut you off and then throw you dirty finger, and saying bad words, profanities. That's
Oh, they get
dangerous.
really
That's dangerous.
exactly. And I noticed. I don't know what it is here. It's ironic, but you know, if you just look at the culture as a whole, it's a very peaceful, friendly culture. In fact, Philippines is probably one of the most friendly countries I've ever been to. You know, I can walk down the street and I can say hi to somebody, they smile back, I can get into a conversation, and within minutes we can be friends already, right?
Yes, sir.
It's not even heard of in the U.S. You can't do that in the U.S. for the most part, unless you're out on the farm. Farming country is a different culture, but in the city, if I compare it in the city, no way, you know. And so you have this very friendly culture, very easy to kind of laid back for the most part. But it seems like as soon as they get something that takes a lot of responsibility to use, they get hypersensitive.
Yeah. That's
You know what
correct.
I mean?
That's
It's
a good
like,
observation, sir. That's a good observation. Yes, sir.
yeah, it's like the person that is laid back and friendly on the street, when they get behind the wheel, watch out. You know, it's like, don't piss them off. You know, so it's interesting how that works, and I don't know why. I don't, you know,
Actually,
I'm
sir,
not a psychologist.
we call it entitlement. No? When somebody is having a car and having a motorcycle, it's like he felt like he's one of the superhero that came from America, sir. No? Yeah. I noticed
Yeah,
that, sir. Also, it's some when they drive car or motorcycle. It's kind of giving them the entitlement of for whatever reason we don't know really, sir.
yeah, must be. Yeah. And it's not, like I said, it's not the majority. It's a minority.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, there's a lot of people that don't understand how to drive here, and they just, out of ignorance, you know, whatever, they're not going to be
Maybe, sir,
violent.
you already drove your car in Baguio, right?
Oh, I drive
You see the
everywhere. I've driven from.
difference in the driver in Baguio. You see the difference there.
Yeah, they're more disciplined there for sure.
Yeah.
And so it's the same as actually the best place to drive, because Baguio now is so much traffic. It's just, I don't like to drive there. Not because they're undisciplined. It's just so much traffic.
Yeah, but You will
Super.
enjoy driving there because when somebody get on a slight bump or something like that in the street, they will raise their hand like that and they will smile.
Yeah, yeah, and they'll give way. They'll give way to you. They'll let you through.
Yeah.
Here, if you're not kind of a little bit of a bully, you're not going to get anywhere.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know what? I have an experience. I think that was 10 years ago. No, 10 years, about 11 years ago. I have an old Mazda 323. You know, Mazda 323
Yeah,
Familia.
yeah.
That is a 1994 model. You know what? I have an experience that a Montero, Mitsubishi Montero, hit my side mirror and he wants me to pay for that for the damage of his car. He's the one who bumped my car. You know what?
Wow.
You know what that guy said? My car is old and his car is new.
Oh,
And the traffic
yeah,
enforcer said to him, "No, sir, you're the one who bumped the side mirror of the officer." See that kind of mentality, sir. Huh?
yeah,
See,
yeah.
what
And
if I'm
that's
arrogant? What if I'm arrogant, right?
yeah,
I'm a law enforcement officer. What
right,
if I'm arrogant? We will end up to something,
right.
something bad, right?
Yeah, if you were not in law enforcement and you had a problem with your anger and you had a weapon, now that could be turned into a really bad situation.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir. So
So
we're just
yeah,
talking
that's
of road incidents, right?
yeah.
It's just only road incident.
Only
We're not talking of
road
other
incident.
human issues, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, there's so many, we own several properties in the Philippines. We have a beachfront in Mindoro and we have another property in Guimaras. And we've gone through all the legalities of, purchasing property and dealing with the neighbors and all these things about put weapons in their hand, really crazy. So, yeah, there's all kinds of, areas where people can use weapons irresponsibly.
Yeah. You know what? When I was in the College of Law, Sir Rob, most of our cases is in the College of Law. We study those Supreme Court decision and court decisions, right? You know what? Most of the time I encountered reading. They kill their mother, they kill their brother because you know what? Land dispute, sir. Land
Yeah,
dispute. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's a big problem
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah. And what we are talking earlier is just a road rage. It's nonsense. Having a fight in just a mere traffic. Yeah.
Yeah,
So that the reason why I'm asking you that if we are ready or not because it's not that really too easy to let people have this right if they're not ready. Do you believe so, sir?
yeah, yeah. Thoroughly, I totally agree with that. And actually, if you think about it, why is it necessary to have a right when you already have the ability to purchase a weapon? I mean, what other benefit would it be if they wrote in a law saying you have the right? Because, like, for example, in the States, you still have to apply, you still have to get approved, there's still a background check. Even if you have the right, it's only a right if you're a law-abiding citizen. If you're not a law-abiding citizen, you get rid of your
Your right
right.
also will be taken away by the government, right?
Exactly. So it really is not. It's kind of meaningless if you're trying to buy a weapon for the wrong reason. So right now in the Philippines, if you're buying a weapon for the right reason, no one's going to stop you. And if you're a law-abiding citizen, so the argument is really not valid. I don't think, because I don't think it would get any cheaper if it's a right versus a privilege. I don't think they're gonna. Okay, it's a right now, so now you can get a permit for free. That's never
It
gonna
depends on
happen.
how you use the gun or what. It depends on your mindset or the purpose of having a gun. Am I correct, sir?
Yeah,
Correct.
exactly. Yeah. So
Sir,
I think if
there is a question here.
yeah,
There's this Sir Jorad Cruz asks, One question in America, if the election are coming, they have also gun ban implemented. He's asking like, do you have gun ban? You have gun ban in the U.S. during election times, correct? In the U.S., do you have that?
No,
Uh,
no. The only thing during elections is it's just more security. You know, they'll
I
have
think.
more.
How about Sir Rob, during martial law when a state was declared under martial law? Do you have gun ban if martial law is declared in a certain state?
Um, I wouldn't. I'm not sure about that because
So meaning there was no incident that the U.S. government is implementing gun ban. Whatever the situation of the states or the country, they don't even really implement gun ban in your states.
I think the only what came really close to martial law was during COVID. It was they really had people locked down. We couldn't go hardly anywhere. Actually, our rights got stripped away.
Yeah,
We
yes.
didn't during the first few months of COVID. We didn't have any
But
rights. It
during
was
your lifetime, since you're a kid, you never heard of gun ban in the U.S., right?
no,
Oh,
no.
yeah. Sir Gerald Cruz, you already heard the answer of Sir Rob. No gun ban in America. All right. There's no gun ban in the U.S.
And there's the gun ban in the U.S. would be like they'll ban it in schools, like you can't bring a weapon to a school, or they'll ban it in a government office, so you can't bring a weapon in a government building or something like that. But as far as a gun ban for the general population, no.
According to Sir Fred Garcia, no, it will violate Second Amendment. That's
Yeah.
good.
Right. Tama.
Mm.
By the way, my daughter is just going to bed now, and here she
Hi,
is.
ma'am. She's the criminology student, right? The criminology
No, no.
student.
She's the eldest one. She has a gun. She owns a Glock 9mm.
Wow.
She has her permit, and
That's nice,
yeah,
ma'am. May women empowerment ang One Gun Pilipinas, and it's better na sumama kayo ni father mo sa group, at maraming salamat. We empower yung mga babae dito, ma'am, at sana makasama ka namin sa mga activities with your dad. And we're very thankful na yung dad mo, ikaw sasama sa amin kasi malaki po yung ating mission, ma'am. A criminology student ka, no? Oo.
No po, no.
her sister.
The other one. The other one.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, see you in the range after gun ban,
Thank you.
ma'am. Oo.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, here's the criminology student. Come here, Che. Come here, Che. Oh, she's listening already. So this is
Hi,
Che.
ma'am. So you
She's the
third year criminology
student.
student, ma'am?
Yes po.
Saan school?
And you po.
Wow. Ako po ay ako ay registered criminologist din, ma'am. Ako ay graduate sa Philippine College of Criminology and also a board passer from 2003 ako nag-board at I hope makapasok ka sa law enforcement. Marami tayong kaibigan sa law enforcement. We will help you grow, ma'am. At sumama ka rin dito sa One Gun Pilipinas. Kasama na si dad mo, tinutulungan niya kami, no? Oo. Mukhang parang Pilipino ang puso ni Sir Rob, no? Ang sarap niyang kausap, ang sarap na very warm, parang hindi Amerikano, parang hindi foreigner, no? Oo. Ano pangalan mo, ma'am? Ano pangalan mo, ma'am?
Cherry Ann po.
Ma'am Cherry Ann, thank you at kayo ni Dad, sana makasama rin namin si Mami nyo. Itong One Gun Pilipinas, ginawa namin itong second family. You know what, Sir Rob? One Gun Pilipinas, we create this group as our second family. Most of our
That's great.
member, we bring their kids and their wife in the range. We eat together, we laugh together, something like that, you know. It's a second family, sir, actually. It's a second family. Yeah.
That's really great.
Ma'am Megan,
Yeah.
thank you for joining us. Salamat po sa pagsali sa live, no? Nakikita ka na ng mga kapatid natin. Oo.
Thank you po.
Ma'am Lilibet Pible, taga Santa Rosa sila, Sir Rob, sila Ma'am Mary Ann. Magandang gabi, no? Oo. You know what? One of our member here, Ma'am Libet Pible, he's a gun store in Santa Rosa, sir. Um,
Oh,
he's
okay.
now is now building his own firing range. You can visit there. We can meet there if the firing range
Wow.
is already finished. No? We will
Yeah.
be joining her in her grand opening of the firing range.
Wow.
Ribbon cutting, we will be there, sir. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ma'am Libet Pible, magandang gabi po. Thank you for watching. Yeah. Salamat po. Yeah.
So, one question for me is during the gun ban, is it banned in firing ranges also? Like everything is banned?
In the firing range, if they have that rental guns or in-house gun, you may use the range, sir. You
Oh, okay.
may go to the range, but not bringing your own firearms, sir.
Oh, okay. Just using theirs.
Yeah, the rental one, the in-house gun. And
Okay.
if you're law enforcement, it's okay, but you have to wear your uniform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
That
Yeah. Okay.
makes sense, yeah. But most of the time, people, civilian gun owners is, you know what, they're creating noise in connection with gun ban because during gun ban there are a lot of criminal, criminal elements roaming around with a gun in the streets. But you know what, of course, we cannot, we cannot question the law. You know what?
Yeah.
The reason why there is gun ban in the Philippines is because the early times, sir, politics is using guns and goons during election period.
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
So that is why that is the time they started this gun ban period because of that, with that scenarios, sir.
Yeah. I think probably the only time I would think is the unsafe part in the Philippines about guns is the political world. You know, if you're not a politician, you're not a target, generally speaking, you know. So they're the only ones that really have to be careful, you know.
And to be addressed, right?
Yeah.
Well, another guy asked you, Sir Rob, Sir Fred Garcia said, what year did you retire?
Oh, well, I got completely out of the military in 1989, but that was a reserve. So for the last 3 years, I was just going back 1 weekend a month to show up, and we did some training, things like that. And during the summertime, I'd go out 2 or 3 weeks at a time and train with the regular army for the last 3 years. But full time, I got out in 1986. That was my full time
military service.
Yeah, from 83 to 86. And I resigned, of course. I mean, I just didn't sign up. In the U.S., if you want to stay in, you have to sign. You have to re-sign every 3 or 4 years. If you don't, you're automatically discharged. So you have to actually sign back up again for another stint in the military.
And then you go for enlistment, right? When you come back, you go for enlistment, right?
Yeah. And then usually your second stint, your first stint, if there's no wars, you're usually staying within the United States. But if you re-sign up again, they want to send you abroad somewhere because they invested a lot of money in you, and so they want to use that training that you have to teach people abroad. Usually it's foreign countries.
I think the ones who was brought to Balikatan is reservists like you, sir, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And I, my time in the service was during the Panama and
Guatemala.
Grenada. We did some, missions in Grenada and Colombia.
Guatemala, you went there?
I went down there when I was in the reserves in 88.
Usually, what did you do in Guatemala? Peacekeeping mission, sir? Peacekeeping mission?
Peacekeeping and then reconnaissance.
Oh.
I was a pathfinder. So my platoon was a reconnaissance platoon.
So you're I think Benning is the school for ranger, right? Fort Benning is the school for ranger.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
means you're a U.S. Ranger, right?
Yeah, I don't like to tell very many people that, but yeah.
Yeah, that's Pathfinder. I think Pathfinder is a ranger, right?
Yeah.
In the Philippines, we call it Musang, the Philippine Scout Ranger.
Yeah, Mosang, yeah.
Yeah, Musang. Oo. Anyway, sir, at least the question I asked is already being asked about are we ready for gun rights here in the Philippines? And you honestly answer it, by your own. We do not influence you answering that, giving your statement, sir. Because I myself believe also that we are not yet really ready for gun rights, and I believe if we're going to have that gun rights in the future, we should start now for our training and education. I think education, after giving education, then discipline will follow. That is our belief here in One Gun Pilipinas.
Yeah. And maybe, I can see opening up a little more gun, not really rights, but maybe make it easier for people that have gone through training like yours. So they've been through the training, they've proven that they're more disciplined, they've proven that they're more safe. So let's give these guys a little more benefit because of, they're more responsible gun owners. So I can see something like that, but saying to open it up to the masses where they haven't been trained, they haven't been proven that they're safe with a weapon, I wouldn't give them a weapon in their hand. I mean, there's so many Americans in the U.S. that I would never sell them a weapon, but they have lots of weapons, but they don't know how to use them. That's really scary actually to think about. But there is probably, I would say at least 1/3 of gun owners in the U.S. have no clue how to even fire a weapon. They don't know how to use it. If they did, they might kill themselves trying to kill somebody else. I mean, I remember I was 10 years old, and we had lots of guns, and I had 3 brothers, and they're always out there shooting something. I mean, we're in redneck country, right? So we just go out and shoot for fun, and my brother, he shot a bear once in our backyard because it was getting into our beehives, and so my dad said, you just go shoot the bear so we won't have a problem. So my brother, he goes back there and he takes his .44 Magnum and he shoots the bear in the tree. And so one shot in the head, bear's dead. And then he hands the gun over to me and he says, hey, Rob, why don't you practice shooting the .44 Magnum? I've never shot a pistol in my life. I've shot rifles already at 10 years old, but not a pistol. And I remember firing that pistol, and it kicked so hard, it scared me to death. And I didn't even know what I hit. I was like, wow, this thing almost killed me.
Yeah.
And so, it's an example of somebody that is not experienced with a serious weapon, and they go buy one expecting it to be like the movies where they can just pick it up with one hand and bang, bang, bang. And it's not the case. It's not a toy, like I said, and that really woke me up. Actually, at 10 years old, it made me realize, hey, these aren't toys. This is serious. It could have.
This is dangerous, right?
The good thing, my brother was right there, telling me what to do, and it still was scary, So there's a lot of people that have weapons that shouldn't have them, just because they haven't gone through the proper training. They don't know how to handle it. Just with my girls here at home, like I buy the one daughter that doesn't have a weapons permit, I bought her a air pistol because I wanted to get used to using that and being safe with that, so that when she gets the real pistol, she knows how to handle it.
Yes, sir.
And the first thing she did is pick it up and swing it around and go, nope, don't you dare do that. What if it went off? You could have just shot me. So, and make sure there's nothing in the chamber. And all these things that you have to realize as a gun owner all the time. You have to be aware all the time. So anyway, it's a good lesson for her, and she's taken it to school with her, and when they have their practice and things like that. So it's a benefit for her in the course she's taken. So yeah, I prepare them ahead of time with the airsoft,
We
and it
call
really
it
helpful.
early training, sir.
Yeah.
You know what? When
And-
my young daughter is about 3 years old, I already taught him the parts of an AR and the pistol, sir.
There
Yeah,
you go.
yeah. It's just 3 years old. I'm already. And you know what? What I did in the house. I always tell her when she was young that, oh, you know what, this gun is dangerous. I bought you your own gun. I bought her own toy gun, and this is yours. That's one is for daddy. Then he never touched it. You know what? Because he knows, I already told him that you have your own gun and I have mine. You can get your own and you do not touch daddy's gun. Ever since, she's now 7 years old. If you're going to my house, Sir Jeff, in my condo, you'll see my guns under the bed, under the chair, and the kid will don't touch it.
Not touch it. Yeah.
But I don't put the magazine, sir.
Yeah.
I'm just I'm giving her the mindset that you don't touch it when you don't need it.
That's good. Yeah, it's really good. So if every parent was like you, then we could have gun rights. Unfortunately, they're not. You know what I mean? So, yeah, that's something that I'm really happy that I met you guys, and I'm part of this training, because it's really what we need in the Philippines. Because not only does it help with being safe with weapons, I think it makes people aware that, hey, this is not just a toy. This is not something we just have fun with, but it's also a weapon. It's also something we have to take seriously. And this is a really good thing.
And
yeah, I mean, I've been through the military, and I was a crazy guy in the military. I was really, they teach you how to kill, and that's all I knew in the military for several years. But I knew who my enemy was, and it wasn't citizens. It's like I drew the line. And so if we were going to war, it's obvious who the enemy is and obvious who the enemy isn't.
The foreign elements, right?
Yeah. So you don't ever use your weapon against your own people. You just don't. It's a red line for me. But I was a crazy kid with my weapon. There's a lot of times where I'd be packing 120 rounds on me almost all the time, and I was ready to lock and load. If somebody put my platoon in danger, and they're going to have a problem. But at the same time, I was very disciplined on who my enemy was.
Yeah. That is why our teaching here in One Gun Pilipinas is to avoid confrontation, avoid conflict, avoid engagement, because as you said, we should identify our real enemies, sir. No?
Yeah.
In preparation, you know what? We are sometimes. People is telling us that, oh, you're paranoid. You're preparing for a war. You're starting to make your own soldiers. You know what? When I encourage our member to join the reservists, someone said, oh, Coricsman wants to have this own soldier. How come that become that those member will become my soldier? They will become soldier of the government, Sir Rap, right? How come that I will have my own soldier? And who the hell am I to have my own soldier, sir? Actually,
yeah.
But the very reason, sir, I'm going to straight to the point. The very reason why we are encouraging our member to join the reservists is because the external threats that it's it's a stone throw away, according to you said earlier. It's a stone thrown away. We need to prepare ourselves to the unknown. Actually, we do not really know where will it come from, when and where, no?
Yeah.
But it's the time is now. It's the
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
we believe we have to start preparing right now. So One Gun Pilipinas is starting to teach people how to use and use guns and
Yeah.
join the service. So whatever happens, at least we could defend ourselves and our families, and of course
Yeah.
our beloved nation, the Philippines, of course.
Exactly.
You know what?
Exactly.
Why I
You
admire
know,
Americans, Sir Jeff, as a Rob? Because you know what, your patriotism is is far beyond definition. Oh, uh, yeah.
yeah.
And if you want a progressive country, if you want to become a successful and a developed country, the first thing you need to do is to have that patriotism in your heart and
Yeah.
in your mind.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if
Well,
all of the time you're just thinking of your own benefit, then
exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. You know, when I first came to the Philippines, I really and the other thing is my background in the military is my superiors they fought in Nam, and some of them were old enough to actually fight in Second World War. So when I first got in the early 80s, there was still people in the 60s, they were 65 pushing 70 years old, that they were in the Philippines fighting for the freedom of the Filipinos. And that really struck me. And I view Filipinos as my brothers in arms. I mean, I really took it to heart because I heard all their stories of fighting side by side with Filipinos and all the crazy stories, the really heartbreaking stories. Some of my family on my wife's side here, experienced the Second World War, and her mom, my wife's mom, used to hear the bombers go overhead and see the airplanes dropping bombs, and they had Japanese in their house. She would cook for them sometimes, and I met some people that their families were bayoneted by the Japanese, that were raped by the Japanese. I heard all these stories, and I have this patriotism for the Filipinos. I really do. It's like if
because we
something
fought
happened in the
together
Philippines,
during the World War II, right? Alongside
yeah,
with
I mean,
Filipino and yeah.
there's a relationship here that's a bond, and I don't care what the government's doing, I don't care what the politicians are doing, but if somebody tries to attack the Philippines, by all means, I'm going to take up arms and I'm going to defend the Philippines. And that's just how I feel about it.
If that time comes, Sir Rob, we already have our own team. And I want you after this live, we will talk about that with our one of our member here is preparing for that, and we will create a team together, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just wanted to say that just to let everybody online know that a lot of Americans are very protective of the
Hi, sir.
Philippines,
Good
especially
evening,
the
sir. Sir Rob,
Americans.
our training director is watching. He is Aaron K. from the Philippine Military Academy, sir. And now he's a businessman.
All
Sir,
right.
Sir Aaron, this is Sir Rob Mason, a former U.S. Army veteran. Yeah.
Hello. Sure. Really good. Good to meet you.
Now, Sir
Uh-huh.
Rob, Sir Aaron, Sir Al Mustafa Gibran is, I think he will throw questions from you. No? I think is our training director, Sir late Sir Rob, and Sir Al Mustafa, Sir Aaron K. Maybe Sir Rob Layton will become our tactical consultant. Right? In our training.
Mm. Mm.
10 years ahead of what we are supposed to be expecting, especially with the advent of the drone technology. You know,
Correct.
and right now, nanotechnology is also being, nano robots are
Being
now being,
incorporated, yeah.
yeah, they're being incorporated there as part of the
Right.
general, scheme of technology that are being used. However, of course, in the Philippine setting, since we've been exercising our freedom for the past 70 or 80 years, and we have a great deal of tie-up with the U.S. forces. The Balikatan, the EDCA, and the Visiting Forces Agreement. All of these are anchored with the Mutual Defense Treaty, right?
Right.
And I just hope that both countries would have equal appreciation of that treaty, because we strongly believe that, me as a former Army officer, we really can't stand alone in this,
Yeah.
in this region.
Conflict, yeah.
We can't stand alone.
Unfortunately, that's the
Yeah.
case. Yeah.
There are, several aspects that affect that, why we can stand alone. Number one is really politics. Number two is, of course, the ever-growing demand for an increase in technological advancements in warfare. The Philippines has no capacity for self-reliance, even though recently we have passed our law for a
But those are
self-reliant
not
defense
enough,
posture.
Sir Eren. Those
Yeah.
are not
Oh,
enough.
definitely. Laws are not enough, but it's a great leap forward.
It's a start. Yeah, it's a
It's a
start.
great leap forward to self-reliance.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's just like we're still at the Bronze Age.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we're at the
Something
Bronze
like
Age.
yeah.
Even though we also need to take into account that the the Philippine warriors, or our soldiers, are well trained. One of the best fighters, one of the best combatants that you could find are here in the Philippines, because of our experience with so many wars, internal security operations, and international conflicts. And I could attest to that, because most of my classmates who are still in service right now have fought well in Mindanao. They've been part of the UN peacekeeping missions in East Timor, those kind of stuff. So the spirit is there, the heart is there, but we still need the technologies, just like as Ukraine, have argued with the former President Biden. They need those missiles. They need the technology in order to advance their posture, with against Russia. Without
Right.
those missiles, without those technology, the use of the landmines, the use of the drones, the intelligence capabilities, the signal intelligence capabilities. Without
So in
those,
short, we need a lot of military hardware.
Equipment.
well,
Yeah.
more than the hardware, it's really the
Technology.
technology. Yeah,
Yeah, the
because
technology.
we could easily buy the hardware, but alongside with it comes the
The
maintenance,
training.
development,
Training, yeah.
the training.
Yeah.
Those entail a
Logistics,
lot
in
of
short,
money.
logistics,
A
yeah.
lot. We need a lot of those. So
Well, what's encouraging, just to sorry to interrupt, but you can continue, but I'll just comment. What's encouraging is there's a lot of Filipinos here that are very smart in technology. I mean, they're inventing stuff that most countries don't, and they are, for example, they're really into the AI technology here. A friend of mine he ran a electronics company. They're on top of the world when it comes to able to understand how it works and all that. So they can easily, we can easily convert that knowledge into military technology. Because right now most of it's civilian. Most of it's
Exactly.
in the consumer product or something like that.
Yeah.
But we can easily convert that to military. And I think there should be some kind of a plan for that, some facilitate. And me, I'm a mechanical engineer. I've done
Nice to hear, sir.
mechanical engineering work for how many years now? Like 30 years. So
Wow.
that's another area where I could personally help. I can design stuff, all these drones and all that stuff. To me, it's not that difficult
Exactly.
to build that stuff here in the Philippines. I could just put together a team of Filipinos and we could start building this stuff.
Maybe we
But
could start collaborating with
yeah,
those kinds of projects. Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
like you say, it's the technology that goes with it. I can have a drone. I can pick up a bomb and I can fly it somewhere with a camera and I can drop it. The problem
Actually,
is,
Sir Rob, to interrupt you for a while, you know what? Not only, that smart thinking that we are talking. You know what? Filipino is expert on propaganda. You know that? You know what?
yeah,
Come to look at this. Filipinos are expert in, we call it marites and chismis, no? And you said, your neighbor is something like that. And it's another thing. You use, you use media, you use social media in your propaganda. And yet they're using the media, the social media for their rumors, no? Making up stories.
Yeah.
So, what do Sir Rob Layton is telling us, ladies and gentlemen, is that we have that knowledge and we have that that kind of smart thinking, but we are not using it. We are not using it
yeah,
properly. That is what Sir Rob Layton is saying.
Yeah, I would probably have to comment on that because, as compared, of course, we don't want to be ethnocentric in our discussion, meaning we would want to impose our own set of values and set of parameters, no, based on what we have experienced, or in this comparison, what Sir Rob experienced as an American citizen. But we could probably set a certain benchmark why that happens, that we as Filipinos haven't really thought of using our brains and our patriotism, to push forward for a better Philippine defense. uh, Maybe that's because we are a very young country. Okay, we are a very young country. The Americans, they have fought like how many civil wars, and people have shed blood
Yeah, yeah.
in their country, and their founding fathers were able to craft their constitution in a manner that would sustain that posture. All right.
Yes. Actually, Sir Eren, uh, it's a good thing that I learned from Sir Rab the reason that the framers of the U.S. Constitution
Yeah.
said that the purpose of the Second Amendment is not for hunting or for sport shooting.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's against the tyrannical government, and it is
Exactly.
misconstrued according to Sir Rob Layton. It is misconstrued by the new generations. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, going back to the discussion about defense, since we do have a lot of sources, I mean, we have a lot of scientists, engineers. Um, the only thing lacking is really the willpower and the political power to push for that. Okay, because number one, it's easier to make money when you import things than to build your own. Try to imagine this, Sir Rob. You're an engineer, right?
yeah,
And you're a mechanical engineer. Um, Come to think of it, that our country has one of the richest resources of black sand, and these are being exported to China to be utilized as steel. All right,
yeah,
to be used an ingredient for
Component
steel
of skill.
production,
Yeah.
component of steel. No, black sand, so
yeah,
black iron. Now, during Marcos' time, there was
A company.
an initiative. No. There's an initiative of the government to utilize several sources of energy, like nuclear, hydropower, okay, geothermal energy, so that all of these alternative sources of energy would somehow contribute in minimizing the cost of production of these mineral resources that we have, like gold, nickel. We have a good source of cadmium, black iron. We do have those resources. Unfortunately, we don't have the facility to utilize those.
And to
That's why,
process it.
yeah, the processing is so expensive. So, yeah,
Yeah.
going back to the self-defense posture, yes, we can, we can uh, uh, group people together. We can invite engineers. We can collaborate with different academies or universities in a country and develop technologies. However, we still don't have the facility, to produce those kinds of technology. All right. And I think that's one aspect that the latest law on self-reliance or self-reliant defense posture has given hope, for young inventors and, for the generation of weapons developers here in the country.
Yeah.
To name one is Armscore. I think they
Yeah.
will benefit. They will really benefit for that because Armscore has its own foundry. It makes its own steel alloy for majority of its pistols. They've developed their own ballistics laboratory to test all their their ammunition development, and they have this full line. I think they will be utilizing AI technology starting this year for their I think the ammunition. That's what I've heard, and that's what I've watched from the latest release of Mr. Tuazon of Armscore. Now, going to that, Sir Rob, I've always dreamed of making our own weapon system because I
Yeah.
myself I'm a long range shooter, and I've always dreamed of creating our own weapons design or having our own weapons design that's truly Filipino.
Yeah.
Um, are you familiar with Corbin technology, sir? Corbin,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I would want to have those kinds of technology from Corbin, but with the recent uh, with the recent strict implementation of the ITAR,
Yeah.
we as Filipinos cannot import those kinds of technology from the states.
Right.
These are
Just
bullets
make it.
waging. These are bullets waging uh, machines. They're
Yeah.
just some come with a single press like that, and some come with a fully automatic setup. Right.
Right.
With this technology, we could create our own armor piercing and ultra low drag bullet designs. Okay, that we could match with the current Marine Scout sniper rifle that is developed by the government arsenal, by no less than former government arsenal director General Martir. So what I'm saying is, technology is available, but we are not allowed to have them because I don't know, maybe some in the government really wouldn't want other people to grab those technology for
Maybe.
for whatever reasons that they have, but for me, given the chance that I would have that kind of technology, I can develop my own ballistics laboratory, test out some bullet designs, and have it used by our very competent snipers in the Philippine Army, Marines, and yeah, and PNP also. But right now, honestly, majority of the components being used in the government arsenal, being used by arms corps, are imported.
Sir.
Mm.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, yeah,
Actually,
yeah. That's
we're
well.
going
That's
out
just
of
my ano. Yeah,
we're
yeah.
going
Sorry,
out of
sorry.
the topic.
Yeah.
But anyway, we
Sorry.
could
Yeah,
do that next
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah.
Actually.
Yeah,
Sir, Sir Erin, actually, Sir Rob, as I said earlier, Sir Erin is our training director.
yeah,
He
yeah.
is he's
Yeah.
smart and more knowledgeable than, as expected, right?
Yeah,
I,
sorry.
Yeah.
I want to sit down and talk to you
Yeah.
about some of that stuff because as a
Yeah, sure.
mechanical
We're going
engineer,
to visit
I
him in,
I get it.
Sir Rob, in Tabuk,
Yeah, yeah,
Kalinga. Oh.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
tomorrow, Sir Erin and I will meet in Las
Las
Piñas. It's
Piñas.
back in
Yeah,
Road,
yeah,
Philippines. We will have our meeting and we will have our gun review there.
yeah.
If you want, you could go there in Las
Yeah.
Piñas and join us, Sir
Wow.
Rob.
Yes.
Tomorrow,
That's great.
I think
Uh,
we will give you a call tomorrow if you're going to go with us. I'll call you tomorrow, Sir Rob. We will have
well,
a yeah.
unfortunately, I'm going to the States tomorrow.
Oh,
Wow!
wow.
And
Okay.
so I won't be
Okay.
back until the 31st. So after the 31st, we can schedule more
After, yeah.
stuff.
Sure.
Sir Rob and Sir Erin, you should have your communication, good communication with
Yeah,
each other because
definitely.
we're working. Three of us will work together. It's a
Yeah.
good job, a huge obligation, and I hope we will have a
Sir,
harmonious
I just want to
relationship.
shout out si Sir Jason Massa of the Eagles, no? I think he's running for the national president yata ng Eagles. Hello Sir Jason, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching our live. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything is being asked and everything is being answered, Sir Erin. But
Yeah.
I think it's your time to ask Sir Rob about U.S. laws, about
Okay.
restrictions, about
So,
his comments about
actually,
gun ownership in
I'm
the U.S.
I'm actually going there. I'm actually going there. Kasi as I understood there, the gun ownership is really a constitutional right. Bearing arms is a constitutional right.
Right.
And technically it's just restricted per state. Depending on
Right.
which state you are, a different interpretation would come out, but eventually you're still allowed, everyone is still allowed to own firearms.
Except for criminals and
Criminals,
people who
yeah,
have bad background or,
yeah,
if they had a violence in the past or something like that, then they're going to be blocked.
exactly. I'm just wondering, how do you go about with, limiting the number of ammunition? I'm referring to, I think, this state of California, that they're limiting the ammunition, and they're not allowed to use external magazines for their rifles. I think that's
They're not allowed to use 30 rounds.
Okay mga kaganos, mga kuya, ate, Bishop Prince of Eagle, sa oras na alas 9:20 po ng gabi, Philippine Standard Time, ay medyo tatapusin muna natin pasamantala yung ating live streaming, no, at medyo may importanteng bagay lang po, no. Itutuloy po natin to bukas para sa ating Dalaw Barangay, no. Yung kapraso na lang naman yun, itutuloy natin po bukas, no. Pasensya na po kayo, talagang hindi po inaasahan na meron pong mga nangyari. Bueno, muli po ako yung naging kasama, naging kakosa, naging katropa, siyempre dito po sa programang Tropa, siyempre dito lang sa Millennial Online TV. Muli po, nagpapalam po yung lingkod, pasamantala itong babalik bukas sa ating naman Dalaw Barangay. Ako po yung lingkod, ROCEL Lopez. Magandang gabi Pilipinas at mapayapang magdamag. Magandang gabi po. Responsable na lang at mahaba na ang inyong pasensya at hindi na ulo. Alam mo rin ba mga ito? Tungkol sa pag-iingat ng baril o firearms. Kung hindi,
A responsible gun owner.
Are you a responsible gun owner?
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 Are you a responsible gun owner? The PNP Civil Security Group would like to advise all firearms holders to renew their license to own and possess firearms and firearms registration within 6 months before its expiry date. Tumawag na at makipag-ugnayan.
Now,
Talakayin. Biggest destruction of dangerous drugs worth 1.
Rebisahin, opinyon, malawakin, aksyonan. Kasama si Rosel Lopez, ang inyong katropa sa pagbabalita. Dito lang sa Millennial Online TV. Tutok na mga katropa!